Rhea Ripley's back way sooner than expected. Both WarGames matches are shaping up, and we might even have a triple threat. These are my assorted thoughts on the November 18th, 2024 WWE RAW. Welcome to Silo Voice Wrestling on YouTube and the Silo Voice Wrestling podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Jason C. McLean. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and of course, ring that bell for notifications to get all my wrestling hot takes, cold takes, simmering takes, prediction videos, wrestling opinion pieces, reviews of WWE premium live events, and of course, assorted thoughts on SmackDown and Raw. Now, I am recording this on November 19th, 2024. It's about like 1 in the afternoon. This is the day after Raw aired, but it's obviously not the day after Raw was recorded. Well, the in-ring stuff was recorded after the previous week's live Raw. And yes, there were spoilers out there, which I thankfully was able to avoid, especially this key spoiler. Mommy's back, or to have more fun with it, Mommy's back, and she's going to be in WarGames Headbutt to live. Seriously, though, Rhea Ripley is back, and honestly, she looked great. She's wearing a face mask now, a la Dashing Cody Rhodes or Undertaker back in the day due to her fractured orbital bone. And instead of making it a necessity, she's made it really a nice addition to her look. She looks even more gothic, more cool. She's dressed all in black. She's got the face mask on, and I love how she introduced herself after her music hit. She goes right up, screams into the microphone, WarGames, then headbutts Liv Morgan. Now, yeah, fractured orbital bone caused by a headbutt, I think. Maybe she shouldn't be doing headbutts, but, you know, I guess get back on the horse, do this one just for effect to say that she's back and she's tough. It worked. It worked really well for the ensuing fight as well, too. Now, I was into the women's WarGames match, but this year I kind of felt like it seemed a bit sort of last minute pieced together. Like maybe they could have done something else with the women, a Survivor Series match for the Women's United States Championship or something, and have the men do the WarGames match. But I was still happy about it because, you know, Sky was in it. So how could you not love a match like that? Also, the talent in it. There's the whole issue of Tiffany Stratton being in there with the briefcase and 2 champions on her team. There's that whole storyline. That was the main thing. But now that Rhea's in the match, it really has a purpose. It brings the Rhea Liv story back, but it also like gives it that extra drive that you need. And now I'm really into this match. And let's look at it now. We have I guess it was Team Bianca, but it's probably now Team Rhea. Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, the tag champions. Io Sky, Naomi. Amazing people. And Rhea Ripley. And on the other side, the 2 champions, Liv Morgan, Nia Jax, plus each of their better halves, Tiffany Stratton and Raquel Rodriguez, and now Candice LeRae. And I think Candice is an interesting addition to the match, too. Of course, the people watching this Raw hadn't seen her come into the team on SmackDown, but regardless, small potatoes. I'm glad this was not spoiled for me because I'm really happy that Rhea's back. It's the only thing that could happen that can make this match really seem full. Of course, we built the other WarGames story too. There were the backstage bits, and I'm sure the audience was a bit confused when Solo and the New Bloodline came out at the beginning of the Seth Rollins Bronson Reed match, and then when Sami Zayn and the Usos came out to fight them off. But it probably kind of made sense to them because they had been setting up, you know, Seth's potential involvement with this whole story. They just didn't know it had already come to Bronson Reed being part of the New Bloodline. It was when the match started, I was thinking, okay, they only have like X number of time on the air. Obviously, there's going to be some interference, but the interference started right away. I was like, okay, these guys have to get out of there soon, and they did. The Rollins Reed match was good until, of course, Solo showed up, distracted Rollins. Bronson Reed hit the tsunami for the win. Now, while I was ecstatic to find out that the women's match is going to be 5-on-5, specifically because Rhea Ripley is involved, I was still hoping and still kind of had wished that the men's match would have stayed 4-on-4, Old Bloodline versus New Bloodline, maybe The Rock showing up and taking the side that Roman doesn't expect him to take, but everyone else expects him to take. Anyways, regardless, I also really wanted the Seth Rollins Bronson Reed program to be 3 matches. You know, Rollins wins the first one on the PLE. Bronson wins the second one on the PLE. Well, he won the second one, but he won it on Raw. And then the third one is the rubber match. But it seems like they've instead mixed it in with this storyline. So it's unfortunate we're not getting that. And we didn't get a full, good second grudge match between the two of them here. We got it, but it was the backdrop for, the kind of predictable interference at the beginning and then the ending that had Solo standing on the table, causing the distraction. But still, even if they don't end up putting Seth into this, I think that other people do think too that they might actually pull a swerve, and Paul Heyman puts in his guy CM Punk at the last minute, which would make a great 5-on-5, but also would give Seth more reasons to hate CM Punk. He finally agrees to team with Roman, and then it's pulled from under him. CM Punk gets his main event spot. I think I could see it going like that. But for now, it was a good match, and it is the right way to develop this angle. I just kind of wish that they had kept these stories separate, but you know what? I'm here to be proven wrong. They are doing it the right way. This might be a stellar match. Speaking of stellar matches, Braun Breaker versus Sheamus. Given its placement in the show, I knew that they weren't going to change the title. Also, Braun Breaker recently won the title, lost it, won it back again. So, yeah, they weren't going to do that. I think at some point, Sheamus is going to be Intercontinental Champion. But still, this was a great match. When Sheamus gives him the beats of the bow rain. And a few points, I almost thought Sheamus might have won it. They did that quite well. And I could see Sheamus, like I said, beating Braun Breaker at some point. And I almost, even though against my own logic, thought it was going to happen here. But then Ludwig Kaiser caused the DQ. Now, normally, I'm not a fan of DQ finishes, especially when it's a really good match. But in this case, it worked. I think it was the right call because Breaker didn't lose the title and Sheamus wasn't pinned. So that sets up the possibility of another match, maybe at a PLE. And I think there is going to be a match, maybe even at Survivor Series. Their card isn't that full yet. I mean, they do have 2 WarGames matches, but still. But it's going to be a triple threat. And after the show promo, Breaker pretty much into this Braun Breaker versus Sheamus versus Ludwig Kaiser for the title. And I think that's going to be great. And I'm also not a fan of triple threat matches. I like them to a certain point, but when there's a championship involved, I think it's sort of an out. But in this case, I think it could be really good. I'm looking forward to that match. I hope it's at Survivor Series. And I think this was the right way to do a messy ending to what was quite a good match. I am now really starting to appreciate The Miz. And for that matter, I think Karrion Kross is getting over, at least with me. He wasn't for a while. I was like, this is not going to happen. Why are you trying to make this happen? But I think this is the right mix. That video promo where Miz laughs about what he did and also sort of implies that this is his way to get the Marine 7 made or some other movie made. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. It's still the Miz character, but it's almost in a more serious light. And Cross is really coming across in these promos. And the fact is they did take out the Wyatts. I mean, the Wyatts got back with their own video promo with Bo Dallas, Uncle Howdy, almost sounding a lot like his late brother Bray, actually, without the mask. Maybe that's why they keep the mask on him so he doesn't seem too much like him. But that was typical Wyatt 6 chilling stuff. But this was a really good cinematic promo before. I'm now into a storyline involving The Miz and Karrion Kross. And I didn't think it would come to that, but I am. I enjoyed the War Raiders beating Carlito and Dominic Mysterio. And Finn Balor and JD McDonough coming in to sort of take care of their next opponents after the match. Made sense. Admittedly, this was kind of predictable, but at the same point, if it means that the War Raiders or anyone really are going to finally dethrone Judgment Day from those tag titles that they defended like once or I think maybe twice in like 6 months, I'm all here for it. I want the War Raiders to be tag team champions. This was a bit predictable, but if it's setting up for what I think it's setting up, I'm all for it. Rey Mysterio and Zelina Vega versus Chad Gable and Ivy Nile was a really fun match. That spot near the end, wow, that took some talent, which of course we know all these performers have. I mean, I'm liking Gable Mysterio in particular because these are two pros. Gable's fighting Rey Mysterio. He lost, and He might win in the future. I think this feud's going to continue. But of course, the reason he lost was to set up some tension, which really wasn't tension, I think, with the Creeds. It just basically showed Gable essentially being a bully, almost starting a fight between the two of them, who came in to basically help him out, who weren't even part of the match. And then he just calms everything down. I think that lends a lot to Gable's character, and I don't think in any way that they're teasing a breakup with this. They're just teasing Gable being a total prick of a boss, and an unhinged one at that. So no breakup teased here. Of course, they've been teasing a breakup of the New Day for weeks now. And the latest babyface former friends, or friends of Kofi, but not friends of Xavier anymore, who we're going to meet them next week, are the Alpha Academy. I'm glad to see Otis getting some screen time on Raw. Tozawa too, Maxine Dupree. But at the same point, I'm wondering how many babyface tag teams or former friends Xavier has to alienate before this breakup or not breakup happens. Maybe it'll be a heel turn for both. Who knows? I'm still very interested to see where this is going. I wish they would get there, though. I know they're only going to get there on their anniversary show. And I'm glad that we're going to see Alpha Academy in action next week. But get there, guys. All I got to say. I like how they're building Damian Priest, making him a real badass babyface. And I also like how they're giving Gunther's character some doubt. Now, okay, Gunther's going to win in Survivor Series, I'm pretty sure, but they're actually making it like Priest could win. His attack backstage, I mean, he just attacks Priest when he's signing autographs, and then Priest gets the better of him, has him down. Pierce even comes by, and Priest's like, it's all good. I just hope they don't make Gunther look too weak, so that unless he reveals that maybe he was just trying to show this weakness to lure Priest in. If that's not the case, I hope they don't make him look too weak going in, because he's still the unbeatable Gunther. He's still the ring general. Also, he did say to Ludwig Kaiser before this, look into my eyes, what do you see? No, they're hinting at something like that. I mean, they always do. Nothing's really by accident in the Triple H era. But yeah, I'm now more looking forward to this, and I think this will be a better Gunther Priest match than the one before, where there was the whole, is Finn Balor trustworthy or not? Obviously not. Worked into it. This is just them on their own. This was a good segment to forward that story. I enjoyed the Lyra Valkyria and Dakota Kai promo videos. I mean, the videos were okay. It's not that I thought they were particularly good videos. They were decent, but I like the fact that they basically seem to be implying that they are going to have a women's intercontinental championship. Because why would you be highlighting the women of Raw if they're not in the tournament for the Women's United States Championship on SmackDown? They made that clear. That's just going to be a SmackDown title. So I think they are going to do one for Raw, and I think they're just not going to announce it yet, but they're showing packages. Dakota Kai, Lyra Valkyria, two of the people who potentially could be fighting for, maybe win this as of yet unannounced women's IC title. I imagine Shayna Baszler will get one probably. Zelina Vega. In fact, that was my key indicator that my key thing that I noticed, how everyone noticed that it was a SmackDown title, is the fact that Zelina Vega's name wasn't included, because her and Chelsea Green were the two ones I thought of when I did a video talking about a women's mid-card title. But it looks like they're going for the IC title, so good on them. And these were my assorted thoughts on the November 18th, 2024 WWE RAW. Do you agree with my takes? All of them, some of them, none of them? Is there stuff I should have included but didn't? Are you liking these new shorter format assorted thoughts videos? Let me know in the comments. Follow at Silo Voice Wrestling on Facebook and Instagram, at Silo Wrestling on X, and me at Jason C. McLean on X and Instagram. Definitely going to be back with the assorted thoughts on SmackDown, but there might be a video in between. Who knows? We'll see. For Silo Voice Studios in Montreal, I'm Jason C. McLean.